Good morning, boys and girls, ladies and gents. It's Corey Wesley coming to you live and in living color from New York, Harlem to be exact. Welcome to Kitchen Table Talk with Corey Wesley. Yes, the table's here. The kitchen's back there. That's New York. Ooh, I'm in the wrong viewpoint. Oh, sorry. What's going on? Causing trouble? Complaining? Hating life? Is that what y'all doing? Well, let me tell you something. I wasn't going to do a, excuse me, kitchen table talk today. Well, I'm going to do one. No, that's a regular cough. Don't freak out. I went outside and got me something. No, I'm going to be chatting with Hershey Beauty. She's a lifestyle makeup celebrity artist, and we're going to be talking about dating. And I wanted to get a female's perspective on dating during COVID-19 and during this virus pandemic, how to do it, how to navigate it. So we're gonna have a little chit chat today. But I was motivated to post something or do a kitchen table talk because I was reading an article about a gentleman, African American, Mr. Cooper. I forgot his name. I'm sorry. But Amy Cooper is the Caucasian woman who was walking her dog in Central Park in the Rambles. It's called the Rambles. And he's a bird watcher. And he asked her politely to put the leash on her dog. I guess she got an attitude. I don't know. He recorded it. And from what I could see, she just wasn't pleased by him addressing her and asking her to put her dog on her leash. And I think certain people who have dogs have to understand that everyone is not comfortable around dogs. My mother was severely bit by one when she was younger. And although I can be around dogs, and I want a Yorkie and all my friends and family say you, but I've come to be more comfortable around those. But certain dogs freak me out a little bit. They're aggressive or they're overly playful, and when you're not comfortable, it just makes you uncomfortable. And I just think that people who have dogs, they love their dogs, but everybody doesn't, and that's why there's a law to put a leash on your dog. So she didn't have a leash. He asked her to do it. He was bird watching. He's a bird watcher. And she is the head of an insurance company here in New York, and her name is Amy Cooper again, and I just was very distraught and frustrated by her reaction, where she then called the cops and said that an African American man, was harassing her or threatening her. And it aggravates me. Not all Caucasian people do this, but it's aggravating that that's that first thing that they go to with an African American, especially male, because they know they're privileged. They know that in our society that their word will sometimes, not all the time, but a majority of the time, will supersede a black person's statement. And that's the sad part. It's even happened in my own home when I hooked up with a Caucasian man and we disagreed about something, and I asked him to leave because he was very aggressive sexually and it was making me uncomfortable. And he attacked me and threatened me to call the cops in my own house. I felt so fearful, and my best friend is Caucasian. And I called him crying, and he wanted me to go to the police. And I was so terrified because this guy, I just knew that based on him and what he looked like and just how he would approach it, and he basically told me how he would approach it, I would go to jail. And if there's a article in the Daily Mail UK about this article, and an attorney who says that she, defends cases like this, and African American men are in jail sometimes because of people just throwing that out, and they're innocent. And they can lose their jobs, their homes, and all that. And I grew up knowing that when I walk out my house, I have 3 bullets on my back, or marks on my back, because I'm a man, I'm black, and I'm gay. Those are already 3 X's that I already have when I walk out the door. And so in our society, people want to believe that this doesn't happen or doesn't exist, or why black men are angry at times, why we're fearful at times, why we have certain demeanor and attitude, because we're scared that this is always going to be the first line of attack when you're dealing with a Caucasian person, and definitely a female. I have learned I don't engage. I walk away. I move away. If it's dark at night and there's a Caucasian woman walking in front of me, I cross the street. There's all kinds of things that most people don't realize that we have to do as African American men, and it frustrates me that the first line of defense is to say an African American man is hostily threatening me when he's not. And it's insulting. It's almost like within the gay community, you see people having these debates and arguments about preference, that when Caucasian people put no blacks on their profile and find that to be acceptable. And then they find that we as African Americans in society are supposed to succumb to that. That's not fair. It's not right. And it does exist. And I have a best friend that's Caucasian, and his whole family treats me with love and respect. And John, my grandmother, may she rest in peace, has always said about him that he never saw color. He never saw color. And he doesn't. I mean, his friends is the United Nations, basically. And that's what I love and respect about him. And that goes to show how he grew up as well. However, I don't say that every Caucasian person is like this, but this is a line of defense. Even sometimes, if they're not that person, that sometimes is their line of defense, because it's something programmed in our psyche that, oh my God, a black man is threatening me. Black men are threatening. And so that's the line of defense, because when you call the police, when you're calling the police in a conflict between a Caucasian and a African American person, male, any black or brown person, you have to be very careful on how you are describing the situation, because if you tell somebody that a black man is threatening a white woman, we're going to jail. And I feel it's insulting. The video did go viral. I wasn't going to do a post, but I just feel like we as a society have to stop this. I don't blame every Caucasian person. I grew up around some amazing, amazing people who are not black and are still my friends. And I love them dearly. And they have never disrespected me. I don't know what happens behind closed doors at their kitchen table with their family, but that's none of my business. However, they've always treated me with high respect. What I will say is that in our society, when this happens, people don't realize it happens more often than we would like it to. And then when you're having these dialogues and you're trying to have these conversations about black and white and why brown and brown men of color and women of color and of black and brown descent are frustrated, it's because of these situations. And then when you read one situation, that's happened to many of us. It's not just one-off. That's not a one-off. That's happened to me in my own house, and I was attacked in my own house and could not report it. So I just wanted to stop in and share my thoughts on the topic, because I just feel like it's absurd that we're still living in 2020 in a pandemic and that's still happening. That's the frustrating part. I know that obviously it ain't going to change. We have a long way to go, because this was happening in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and still in the 2000s. I know that this is probably embedded in our society forever. However, what I will say is that it's going to take a lot more of us as men of color, women of color, brown and black individuals like myself, to start speaking up and sharing our experiences, so that you understand that this is happening more often than we like. Okay? And then when we're upset, it's because it's happening repeatedly. And then if you look at the news, black men are getting shot for no apparent reason, okay? Running down the street, no gun, no weapon, doing what everybody, all of our own counterparts do all day long, run down the street. But we're attacked and killed. This has to stop. And those examples, like the Amy Coopers, are the reason why this continues to happen. That's their first line of defense. Oh my God, a black man is threatening me. And we just asked them, can you please put the leash on your dog? It's almost like we cannot even have, speak to someone and tell them what they should be rightfully so doing. It's on every sign in every park. Leash your dog. And every person that I find, I live next door to a Caucasian man who does not even wear a mask. He doesn't care, and he just doesn't. And I can't even say anything to him. He blasts his TV, excuse me, on the wall. And I can't say anything to him. And I live and I pay as much money as he does. But because I don't want to have that interaction, because I know that his story might supersede mine, just simply because of the color of our skin. I just wanted to put my own thoughts out there. I think that we need more African American men and women to be unafraid to share their experiences. This is not up for debate. It is what it is. But I just wanted to say, this is happening, and if you're watching this, I just hope if, African Americans, we have to be safe, protect ourselves, and our friends who are Caucasian have to support us, understand the struggle that we're going through, and understand that it's not, that you don't have to defend your whole entire race. If you're not that person, that's wonderful. Don't defend these other crazy, ignorant folks that are actually putting your friends that you love of color in danger. That's why we get upset. So I just wanted to stop in because I was aggravated at saying another damn story. And when I watched the video, it was just like, really, girl? Okay. This is this classic, oh my God, a black man is threatening me. Stop doing that. That is such a stereotype. And it's a stereotype that is untrue. We're not threatening, we're smart, we're intelligent, we can have conversation, we have every right to tell you to put a leash on your dog when it's required by law to have a leash on your dog. It just doesn't make sense why we're still in this state of the world. I don't get it. It aggravates me. I don't understand it. And because I just live in a world that is just not healthy. And that's why I almost live in a bubble, because it's an unhealthy society out there. And a lot of people want to shrug their shoulder, turn their eye, and when they hear racism, they're like, oh, okay, it don't really exist. It exists. It's out there, and I have to deal with it on a constant. Although I've never brought it to anyone of mine, because I feel like I'm just not the person that, like, look, my mother taught me to just kind of go with the flow, put your head down, walk, do your best, try not to, stir any pots in that area of race and all that, because you're living in unfortunately, a white man's world. You have to know how to navigate through it. And I've learned very well from my mother how to navigate through it. And I have not had many of these situations, although as I got older, they became more and more great, and I think that's why I kind of went isolated into my own self and went into my own bubble. I stopped going to clubs because I saw that in the gay environment, the club environment, in the recent years. That's why I stopped going. I wanted to be a part of that culture because I come from that experience in the 90s, and it was such like a family. But it's not like that anymore. And I don't want to feel like I'm not connected to any society or any community or not welcomed. And it was starting to happen. And it's scary that you as a black person or a man or a woman of color have to go outside and be scared every day. And so that somebody could either lie on you, make a situation out to be something totally different, and basically exercise their privilege and exercise stereotypes to basically make their case. That's an effed up state of world that we're living in. And if you can't, you have to agree, it's an effed up world that we're living in. Well, anyway, I'm gonna go back to being nice and pretty and cute. Oh, see, yes. This is one of my black, I'm perfect timing. See, this is black, gay, beautiful, and proud. Wonderful. Isn't that wonderful that I have that shirt on today? When I have to talk about this. Anyway, remember, today is the best day ever. Why? Because you are a part of it. Remember to stay blessed, because you're already blessed. And let's just try to make a difference in this world. It's getting old. Ain't it 1960, that kind of stuff? And it's still happening. Well, anyway, like I said, I'm going to be having a nice chat with Hershey Beauty. I'm really excited today. And then next week, Eve from Ready from Pleasure, we're going to be talking about sex toys. What a transition. How about that? Anyway, remember, have the best day ever, because you are a part of it. Mwah.